Hello, I'm the 10-minute English teacher. Let's get you exam ready. Today we're thinking about Death of a Salesman, and I'm going to be helping you to understand the play as we think about Willy Loman. This lesson comes with a completely free resource. If you're a subscriber, you can click the link in the description and help yourself to a worksheet if you'd like to use that as we go along. Before we get going, don't forget to like and subscribe. There are plenty of things on the channel to help you understand the play like an expert. Okay, let's get going and understand Willy. This is Willy Loman, and this is going to be his action throughout the course of Act 1. We've got positive and negative emotions to think about. We're going to think about those key moments and how his mood changes throughout Act 1. Now, the play begins with him coming home completely exhausted after a day as a travelling salesman on the road. He's nearly crashed his car. He talks to his wife, Linda, about being tired to the death and how exhausted he is. So we know that Willy's life is somewhat in crisis. He's coming to the end of his career and his working life. He is completely exhausted, and as he comes home, there's this sense of negativity about him. But then that takes a turn when he begins to romanticise the past. Now, he's actually confused the car he was driving with one that he used to own. And when he begins to think about that car and how the boys used to wash it and clean it, that's something that brings a positive change in Willy's mood. So we've got a rising mood in Willy at that point as he begins to think about the past. And this really does introduce the idea that Willy's present is very much at odds with the way he felt about himself earlier in his life. We've then got a break from the action involving Willy, so I've stuck Biff and Happy in this box just to remind us that at this point Willy Loman is not on stage. Happy and Biff, his two adult sons, are upstairs in their bedroom. They've overheard the conversation that their fathers had. They talk a little bit about their feelings towards him, but also their own hopes and dreams. Then we return to Willy, and now he's brought this image of his past self and his life with his younger family to life on stage. He's imagining the younger boys washing the car. It's a really happy, loving moment. He's given them the gift of a punch bag, and he's completely immersed in this. So we realise that Willy's only way of breaking this sense of depression and self-loathing is by reimagining the past and bringing that to life. So that's what we have there. But then that positive feeling and moment is broken as a young Linda, in his memory that he's brought to life, mentions money. They owe a lot of money and their refrigerator's broken, and Willy's frustrations and anger appear at that point. And then we have the woman laughing off stage, this figure of a woman laughing at Willy. We don't understand her significance at this point, but that brings a darker tone to this moment in Act 1. And we've got a sense of dread and guilt here that we associate with Willy's listening to this woman laugh. We don't know the significance of it, but it definitely changes the mood further. But then Willy breaks himself out of this spiralling negativity by thinking about his estranged brother Ben. He has a conversation about how successful his brother was, linking him to success with diamond mining. And then after that, we've got Charlie, his next door neighbour, an image of him in the past telling Willy that his boys have been stealing and that they could well be in trouble with the police. That's something that brings a lot of frustration to Willy. And then he manages to change his mood again by bringing Ben to life at this time. So we've got a vision of Ben from the past, speaking with his boys and family, and that really does elevate his mood. So in Act 1 so far, we've got the past that is something that helps Willy to cope with the way that he feels in the present, and he brings this image of Ben to life, and it feels as if that's something that is a figment of Willy's imagination. His success in diamond mines and his brilliant confidence and character and this electric personality that he brings to life seems to be something that is a figment of Willy's imagination, something that he's created in his own mind, perhaps as a defence mechanism, and it seems very fantastical, and all of the successes of Ben seem at odds with reality. We've then got a conversation between Linda, the boy's mother, and Happy and Biff. They talk about their father, and the boys talk about their frustrations. Linda then shares the fact that Willy has been considering taking his own life. And at that point, Willy appears. He's overheard them speaking about him. The idea that people think he's crazy is mentioned just before he appears, so his mood has definitely changed at this point. We saw him before thinking about his brother Ben and bringing him to life in his own mind, feeling relatively positive, if not deluded. And then the next time we see him, there's a bit of frustration. It looks as if there's going to be a huge confrontation between him and the boys because he's realising that they don't believe in him. But then there's a conversation about somebody called Bill Oliver. The boys have got a meeting with somebody called Bill Oliver. He could finance them, and their idea is to create a sports brand and get financing from Bill Oliver. And that's something that Willy latches onto, and his mood completely changes. For him, this means success for them and wealth for the family, and this completely and utterly elevates his mood. And we end Act 1 with Willy and Linda about to go to sleep, and Willy talking about having a meeting with his boss in order to ask if he can stop working on the road and take a job in the office in New York instead, because he's been travelling many, many miles, hundreds of miles, unsuccessfully every week. He's nearing the end of his working life. He's tired, and he's hopeful that he's going to be given a different opportunity and responsibility for the last few years of his career. And he's also completely convinced that his boys are going to be successful in their meeting with Bill Oliver. So at the end of Act 1, we've got Willy Loman elated. We've got his mood has risen throughout Act 1, but we of course know this as tragedy. It is downhill literally from here, and if you think about the way we've plotted that action, it's quite easy for us to see where we are about to head to. What goes up must come down, and that's going to be the story of Willy throughout Act 2 and 3. For you, if you want to now think about Willy Loman in Act 2 and 3, all you need to do is click that link. You can then make a copy and save your own version of my template so that you can fill in all the action using a bit of cut and paste, and you can think about the journey that Willy goes on through Act 2 and Act 3 to plot his moods and his change of moods, but also to help you understand all of the key events and the direction of the narrative. Okay, check out the other videos on my channel. I'll continue to add content. Feel free to ask something you'd like to see me cover in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and keep revising.